Today, I am answering your personal finance questions. I have 7 on my list, and as time permits, I will respond if there are any in the comment section. Hello and welcome. Here at the Dr. Sav Talks Money YouTube podcast, I share simple, practical tips, realistic strategies, and workable solutions that lead to financial freedom for women and women entrepreneurs. So before I dive in, let me just check the comments. And hi, Beverly. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so the first question I have on my list of 7 is how to save money. Now, I'm not sure if they were asking about what method I use to save money or if they were asking about some things to do to save money. So I'm going to answer both. So, in terms of the method that I use to save money, I save in high yield savings account. I have 2 high yield online savings accounts, and I'm going to explain what that is in a little bit. That I set aside money each paycheck. Money goes into those 2 accounts. And then I also have another regular account that has several savings accounts under that. So the first 2 high yield savings accounts, those are more emergencies. So it's for any unexpected expenses. That's what those are for. For the other one where I have a checking account attached to it, that is more for expenses that I'm saving that I'm aware of. For example, my life insurance is every 6 months. So I know I put money in that for my life insurance. For my auto insurance, I pay every 6 months. So that is how I save money in terms of the method that I use. Only thing I want to say is saving is a habit. And once you start, it's easy to continue. So you want to do that. You want to create a habit. Get that money out of your check. Let your employer send that money to your savings account. And I promise you won't miss it. You'll get accustomed to having a set take-home pay, and you will do whatever you need to make that work. So create the habit of savings. Now, in terms of the other part of the question, there are some things that I do to save money, and one of them I do is meal prepping. I'm looking forward to the cooler weather because what I usually do is I create a big pot of soup and I freeze in different containers and I eat that for several weeks. And my favorite soup to make is lentil with lots of veggies. Very inexpensive, but it's very filling and it goes a long way. Typically, I'll put some smoked turkey in it or I'll put some pork neck bones in it. And that really goes a very long way. That's one way that I save money on a regular basis. The other way is I look at my grocery store and I see when markdown is, what day, because grocery stores typically have a certain time or a certain day when they'll do markdowns. So you want to look for that. They have certain days when they have things go on sale. Look for that. And you want to take advantage of that and save money. When you do your meal prep, one of the things you want to do is make a grocery list based on that. I don't know if you've been in the grocery store where you just picked up things. I'm guilty and I don't use it. So if you're looking, the person that asked the question, how to save money, if you're looking for a way to save money, go ahead and prepare a list of what meals you're planning to eat for that week and create your shopping list based on that. Another thing you want to do if you're looking to save money is buy in season. For example, blueberries are in season a certain time. Strawberries are in season a certain time. So buy those. And if you make shakes or whatever you do with your strawberries, you can even use them in your salads afterward. So buy those things, prepare them well, freeze them, and then you can use them out of season. So that's one way you can save money. Buy in bulk. I have shared this before on this channel where you can get together with a friend, get together with a family member, and buy things in bulk and split the cost. And it's going to save you money. And then the last tip I want to share in this category is never shop hungry. Okay, never shop hungry. So for the person that asked the question, how to save money, I gave you 2 different ways. I gave you the vehicle you can use and then some things that you can do to save money. Of course, that's not all encompassing, but I just wanted to share some things. All right, so I'm going to check into the comments a little bit, see if there are any questions on that. And I see Grandma Goody's here. Hi, Grandma Goody. Thank you for dropping by. And Beverly, I think I said hi to you before. Hi, Beverly. And Asian American Legal Focus. Judy, hi. Thank you for stopping by. All right, the second question that I had on my list was, what is the difference between a sinking fund and an emergency fund? Now, you can call them whatever name you want, but technically, a sinking fund is something you're saving for an expected expense. So, like when I shared with you that I have the one account that has my checking attached to it, that is pretty, you could call that a sinking fund because I'm saving for expenses that I'm expecting. I know my car insurance is due. I know my life insurance is due. I know my, I know I'm writing a book that I'm going to be publishing. So I need your expenses associated with that. So I'm saving. Those are expenses that we would classify as sinking fund. Then there is also the emergency fund is for unexpected expenses. You know something will possibly happen, but you don't know what they are. So you're saving in the event something happens. Because an emergency, think about it. An emergency is something that you didn't expect, right? That's what makes it an emergency, because now you have to act. So that's why you have the emergency fund. So the difference between them, the sinking fund is more for expected expenses. The emergency fund is for unexpected expenses. That's the major difference between them. Okay. So one way, I guess, to prepare for emergency fund is look around your house and see some things that could possibly create an emergency. If you have an AC, for example, an air conditioner that is maybe 15 years old or, some number of years, then you might think, well, at some point, I'm going to have to replace this. At some point, I'm going to have to repair it. So you want to set some money aside. Make sure you have some money for that. All right. So question number 3 is, how do you stay motivated when paying off debt? Now, I can share with you what I do. And one of the first things I do is I create smaller milestones within the larger milestone. So I say, okay, I want to pay off, I don't have credit cards now, but when I did, I said, I want to pay off this credit card by December. And so I set up ways to do that. So I create small milestones within the bigger milestone, which is to be debt free. One of the things I do with that is I make sure they're achievable goals. Now, you want to create SMART goals, right? You want to make sure the goals are achievable. And that's one of the things that I do. I give myself due dates for each of them so that I have a target to hit. And I celebrate my small milestones. It's ironic because I celebrate the small milestones, but I don't celebrate the big milestones for some reason. And that's something that I have to try to create a habit to do, is to celebrate the small milestone. The fourth thing I want to share with you in terms of how to stay motivated when paying off debt is to keep your why front and center. For me, my why is to be able to help people. It hurts my heart when I saw the story of what's going on with the Haitian refugees. It hurt my heart. And I wanted to be able to say, load my car with things, drive to the border and help feed those people, help provide some kind of relief to them. But because I'm not totally financially free, I'm not able to do that. So I contributed online. So at least I was able to do that, right? So for me, being motivated to pay off debt is to be able to help other people. And that motivates me to want to be totally debt free. So I have the freedom to be able to go to Jamaica and pack my suitcases with everything I can and come back with just the clothes on my back. I want to be able to go to Jamaica and give to the people who are suffering, who don't have a job, who don't have a way of giving. So that's my motivation to be in debt free. All right. So let me see if there's another question. Oh yeah. And another point I wanted to make is to make a vision board of what would you do if you were totally debt free? Make a vision board of that and keep it on your fridge, keep it somewhere, that if I were totally debt free, these are some of the things that I want to do. And how badly do you want to do that? And that should help to motivate you to stay debt free. All right. So before I go to question number 4, I will check the chat to see if there are any questions. And Sid is saying, hello, Dr. Seb. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Sid. Okay, question number 4. It asks, what do you mean by high yield savings account? How do they work? And you don't have to get intimidated by that terminology. It just simply means that you get a higher return. So typically right now, savings accounts are paying 0.3%, 0.2%, or maybe even lower than that. And what we call high yield savings account or higher return, they're giving you higher return on your money, are paying 0.4, 0.5, 0.55, somewhere around there. Okay. So that's basically what that means. It just means that you're getting a higher return on your money. Okay. Question number 5 that somebody asked was, do you think credit cards are bad? And I say, no, credit cards are not bad. Credit cards are a tool. They are tools that you can use. If I don't know how to use a saw, then I learn how to use the saw, or I don't use the saw. And it's the same thing with credit cards. They are simply a tool. So we learn how to use them. If you know that you have problems managing credit card debt, then I say don't use it. But if you can leverage credit cards to be able to take advantage of the miles that you get, the cash back, or any other offerings that credit card companies are giving, then I say go ahead and take advantage of that. But the bottom line is credit cards are a tool. They are tools. And if you know how to use them, use them. If you don't know how to use them, leave them alone. Okay? They are not bad in and of themselves. And I have a playlist of videos on credit cards. You can take a look at that in my library. All right. Question number 6 asked, should we save or pay off debt? And I say do both with a caveat. Okay. So in order to save, in order to take advantage of the compound effect of money, you do want to save. You do want to go ahead and save as much as you can. If you're in your 40s, especially in your 50s, debt is not your focus. Okay. You need to be focusing on making sure you have money for retirement. But if you're in a position where you can do both, I say go ahead and do both. You want to take advantage of the compounding effect of interest rates, and you want to go ahead and set something aside because you cannot borrow for retirement. You can borrow for your kids' loans. You can borrow for your student loans. You can borrow for all kinds of things. You cannot borrow for retirement. So you want to go ahead and save something while you are paying off debt. Now, I would say pause your debt payment in the event maybe you have a smaller loan that has really, really high interest rate. Pause your investments. Pause your saving towards your retirement. Pause for that and knock that debt out. But overall, you want to be saving at the same time you are paying off your debt, because you are losing again the compound effect of money by not saving. And if you think about it, if you have a high interest debt and you are thinking, okay, I'm high interest debt like a credit card, right? It's not going to hurt to just pause your payment. I mean, your investments, to just knock that out, because you're not only paying off the debt, but you're also think about it as found money, right? So let's say your monthly payment for your credit cards is $400, and you're paying that every month, and you can wrap that up. You can ramp that up and pay maybe $600 or a little bit more and knock that out. That's money that you can allocate to investments. That's money that you can add to more savings. That's money you can do other things with. So if you can knock out those smaller, high interest debt, then go ahead and do that. But overall, you want to save at the same time that you are investing, because you can't borrow for retirement. Okay. All right. So let me check the question and let me check the chat to see. Hey, Letitia, thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate you coming by to support. And I see there's a question here, and I will wrap up the last two questions. I mean, the last question, and then I will come to the question in the chat. All right. So one of the things I want to also say is saving even small amounts over time can add up to large savings. I'm a witness of that. Okay. I shared before, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, that I was putting aside $100 each paycheck into my Navy Federal Credit Union account, and when I went and checked, it was nearly 1,000. It's over 1,000 now. So, and I started in the middle of the year, or maybe like 3 months into the year. So, setting aside a small amount of money and setting it and forgetting it, I promise you that that's a great way to save money, and it creates the habit of saving. And you're getting interest on top of interest. That's one of the beauty of compounding interest, is that you are, for debt, compounding interest works the same way for debt as it does for savings. Unfortunately, it works on opposite ends. So compound interest on debt, if you have debt, $100, and you have interest that's added to that, now you are, let's say interest is $50, right? So now your debt is $150, and you're paying interest on the interest is calculated on 150. And so next time the debt is like $200, you're paying interest on 200. Now remember, all that other interest, that first $50, that next, what did I say? 200? The next $70, whatever it is, right? All of that, you're paying interest on top of interest. And that's not benefiting you. Savings work the same way, where you put in $100 and you get interest of, say, $20. Now, when they calculate your interest next time, you're getting interest on $120. So that's the beauty of compounding interest, except it works against you for debt, which is why you want to try to knock them out as much as possible, but you don't want to not invest, and you don't want to set money aside for retirement. All right, so the last question I had on this before I go to questions in the chat is, I don't like budgets. Why do I need to do one? Okay, I think about this, like, my daughter is in college, and last semester, she had some instructors that were slackers. That's what I call them, slackers, because she would ask for her grades. She wanted to know how she was doing. And these are classes where you're writing exercises. So you need to know how you're doing. And, do I need to do the extra credit? She needs to know how she's doing, right? And at the end of the semester is when she got her grades on all the different assignments. Now, it's the same way with budgets. And a budget doesn't have to be elaborate. A budget is what you make it. A budget is you if you want to scratch it on paper, go ahead and do that. There is no set way to do a budget, because personal finance is just that. It's personal. So whatever way works for you. The bottom line is, you have to make sure that you are tracking your expenses. You have to make sure that you are tracking what's going out and what's coming in. Because like my daughter, she got an unpleasant surprise at the end of the semester. If we don't have some way to corral our expenses and manage what's coming in, we're going to end up with a nasty surprise, because we won't know how our financial picture is. So really, that's what a budget does. It just provides a guide. It provides a roadmap. It provides a boundary to help you manage what's coming in and what's going out. All right. So those are the questions that were sent in, and I'm going to check the chat to see what questions are here. And Beverly's asking here, would it be better to consolidate your bills or pay them individually? It depends. And that's the main question in personal finance is, it depends. Okay. So if you have, let's say, for example, and this is a general, because I don't know, all the interest, I don't know your interest rate. I don't know the amounts. I don't know any of this. So this is just general advice, right? Or general information. It would serve you to consolidate your bills if the interest rates are just about the same, and consolidating them all will give you a lower interest rate. So let's say you have debt, 10%, a credit card is 10%, another credit card is maybe 15%, and you can get a personal loan for maybe 8%. then I would say yes, it would make sense to do that, to get that personal loan and pay that lower interest rate, right? Paying them individually, again, if they are very close in amounts and interest rates, then it wouldn't, and if you would not get a better interest rate by consolidating, then it doesn't even make sense to consolidate, especially if you are going to have to pay some kind of fees to consolidate. So it only makes sense in general, because again, it depends. I don't know what interest rates are. I don't know what the amounts are. You'd have to look at those to determine if it makes sense to consolidate the bills or pay them individually. But in general, I say, again, if the interest rates are very close and the amounts are very close, and you would end up with a lower interest rate, and you're not losing anything, you don't have to pay any fees or any of that, then it makes sense to consolidate. Then you're paying the loan to one, whatever the debt is, to one person. Now, for student loans, it's a different story. In terms of consolidation, I am not a believer in consolidation for student loans, for various reasons, which I won't go into. I have some videos on it. One of the things is you lose the benefit, especially if you're going from a Fed loan to a private loan. You lose all the benefits of that. Another thing is, because they're private loans, you can't pause them. You can't go on, you can't ask them for any breaks. They want their money. Okay. So those are two of the things right now, just quickly, why I am not a believer in consolidating student loans. And then if you are also, one other thing I'll share, if you are looking at the public service loan forgiveness program, if you consolidate your loan, if you're doing really well and you're making your payments, and you are meeting all the criteria and all the qualifications, and you consolidate your loan, you lose all of that you did before. You're starting over from zero. So that's another reason to be careful about loan consolidation. But in terms of general bill, just, what I said before. All right. Let's see. Another question here. She said, what book are you writing, and how is it going? It's actually done. The writing is done right now. Basically, I'm just I took off several days this week, and basically all I'm doing is doing some edits and rewrites and moving things around. So thanks for asking, Grandma Goody. All right, so I don't see any other questions in the comments. And unfortunately, I did not pull up LinkedIn to see if there are questions over there. So let me do that real quickly on my phone to see if there are any questions over in LinkedIn, because I can see all of the other platforms here, but I can't see LinkedIn. And I don't see a question in LinkedIn. So if nobody else has any questions, then I am going to wrap it up, and I'll just do a quick summary of the things that I shared. Hey, Anita, thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate the support. Okay, so again, the 7 questions that I had, the first one was how to save money, and I shared some vehicles that I use to save money, and then I also shared some things you can do to save money, some practical things you can do to save money. The second question was, what is the difference between a sinking fund and an emergency fund? And again, the sinking fund is for expected expenses, and the emergency fund is for unexpected expenses. How do you stay motivated when paying off debt? I shared several things that I do, creating small milestones, celebrating your milestone, having your why front and center, making a vision board of what your life would look like if you were totally financially free. The question number 4 was, what do you mean by high yield savings accounts? How do they work? And I basically shared that they are just accounts where you get higher returns. It's nothing fancy about them. It's just that you get higher returns, and the higher return. So that's one of the reasons that you might want to think about doing that. One thing I didn't share is that sometimes the high yield accounts may require a minimum balance to open them. For the ones that I'm using, did not require a minimum balance to open them. So you might want to look at that. There's usually some caveats with some of these high yield savings accounts. So go for that. I mean, if you have money in your savings account right now that's only paying you like 0.1 or 0.2 or something like that, think of a high yield savings account and take advantage of the higher interest rates while they last. Higher 0.5, if you can call 0.5 high. The other question they asked was, do you think credit cards are bad? And I said, no, they are tools to be used. If you don't know how to use the tool, you learn how to use the tool, or you leave the tool alone. Okay. And so credit cards is, you just have to learn how to use the tool effectively. The question number 6 was, should we save or pay off debt? And basically, I say do both. And I gave some reasons as to why you should do both. And number 7 was, I don't like budgets. Why do I need to do one? And I said, budgets are they create a barrier. They create a roadmap to help you understand how your money is going. How's your money doing? It helps give you control over your money. And there was one question in the chat where Beverly asked, should you consolidate your debt or pay them individually? And I said, it depends. It really depends. It depends on interest rate, depends on the amounts and all of that before you can, if you should really consolidate or pay the debt separately. So again, thank you so much for coming by. And let's see, I have one comment here. And Asian American Legal Focus to say, nice live stream. Have a good night. I have to go back to the post. Okay. I want something on her channel. So that's what she's telling me, that message. So everyone, have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. And please check out the, thank you, Anita. I just got it done on Thursday. My logo on Thursday. I just got my new logo done on Thursday. And so I'm excited to see it on my products. I'm in the process of working on to get some, and with another company to get some merchandise out there, because the last company was a mess. It was just a total mess. And so I'm not going to use them anymore. I have a new company that I am working with them. It's called Press and Sew. And I'm impressed so far. And they haven't even done the work, but I'm impressed with the service that they've offered. All right. So I want to share a couple of things here. And don't forget to get your credit reports at annualcreditreport.com. You get weekly credit reports right now because of COVID. Typically, you get it once per year, but you can run your credit reports weekly through annualcreditreport.com. So go ahead and take advantage of that and do a deep dive of your credit report. If you look at my live stream from last week, you know why I'm emphasizing this, because I didn't, and I had a not so nice surprise. Luckily, they fixed it, but you want to go ahead and do that. Okay, so the next thing I want to share is please check out my new website. It is fire. Okay, check out my new website, please. It is so awesome. And the lady that did it, I'm going to share her Facebook page right here. She is Dara Simon, and it's Dara Simon's Creative. Please check out my website. And if you are interested, please go check out her Facebook page and tell her I sent you. Okay. And the last thing I want to share is I now have a Buy Me a Coffee page. It's really Buy Me a Hot Chocolate. And if you are interested in this content, if it benefits you in any way and you want to support the channel, you can go to buymeacoffee.com, Dr. Seb Talks Money, and you can buy me a cup of hot chocolate over there. Okay. And I see 3 comments here. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions before I wrap up. Okay. Oh, the URL. I'm not sure. Were you asking about the website or her? Okay. So let me go ahead and share these 2 URL again. I'm not sure which ones you were asking about, Grandma Goody. So the website is her website. Okay. What did I just do? Her website, her Facebook page is Dara Simon's Creative. And my website is sebtalksmoney.com. All right. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your support. Please come back to the channel next Sunday afternoon when we do another live. And I may have a guest talking about business credit. I'm not sure if I'll have her next Sunday or the Sunday after that, but we're going to dive deeper into business credits. And don't forget to check out the website. You are going to be pleasantly surprised. Thank you so much and have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.